our topic of discussion, which is why should a God who claims to be merciful allow good and pious people sometimes to suffer? This discussion, or let me say topic, is kind of confusing, and most times it is so confusing to many people. I'm sure some of us used to be like that sometimes whenever we are being frustrated, or to some extent that we suffer to some level. Then we'll be like, I'm worshiping my God as he has asked us to. And there are some people that they don't worship him at all, but they are much more comfortable, they are rich, they are good looking than me, that I'm submissive to my God as he has asked me to. It happens like that. But I want us to look into this, some aspects, how will I call it, seriously, if Almighty, our Lord, based on his profound knowledge and might, decided to put us where we belonged, if the Almighty Lord has decided not to create us into the earth to work towards the good deeds or bad deeds, if he has decided to put us into where we belong directly, heaven or hell, before we even come to earth, we would certainly consider it unfair. Like, we will say that's wrong, he's wrong. He cannot just decide putting us into heaven or hell without testing us, without doing this, that. We'll be arguing. We will say it's wrong for putting us where he has put us into. We would complain that if we had been given the opportunity to come to this world, we wouldn't have ended up where we are being put, especially if it were hell. Equally, those in paradise would not appreciate it. They would appreciate the value since they hadn't worked for it. Similarly, if a newly admitted student received his admission letter and was at the same time given a certificate of completion which read failure, then he would never agree. He would insist on being allowed to undergo the program for the specified duration before he could be said to have failed. Then he would accept his fate because he would know the evidence of his failure. The Almighty says in Quran 47 verse 31, "And certainly we shall try you all, so that we might mark out those of you who strive hard on our cause and are patient in adversity. For we shall put to a test the truth of all your assertions. The test of faith is the certainty of consonance between faith and deeds, as Allah puts it in the Quran 29 verse 2. Do men think that on their mere saying we have attained to faith? No. They will be left to themselves and will not be put to test. The significance of his test by analogy is like burnt bricks, which suffer bonding, squeezing, and baking, e.g. they are fired. All this is to give us the strongest bricks required for a stable building. Suffering to the pious or good person is useful to him in his self-development. Quran 2 verse 155 to verse 157 and Quran 21 verse 35. Allah tells us that we shall be tested with things like fear, hunger, loss, fruit of labor, loss of properties and lives, but at the same time hinted us on the answer for the rest. He wants us to experience and exercise patience and acknowledge that everything comes from him and will definitely return to him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whoever fulfills this condition will be considered a true believer. But if you fail, then you will be a witness against yourself and truly recognize your own real self. Furthermore, a successful person will bring the following benefits to himself and to the entire community. This condition of ease will help him to become more humble and grateful to his Lord. He will also develop more faith and trust in his Almighty, in Allah, than in anyone else. Quran 21 verse 35 states that. It will help him to give better comfort to people with problems and encourage his associations with the needy and suffering. It also makes him more useful to his community because he has become more tolerant, appreciative, and helpful, etc. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to guide us aright. Amen.